Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Potato, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, I am back for another recap and review of everybody's favorite critically acclaimed, future Emmy nominated, reality award TV something winner, The 1,000 Pound Sisters, starring Amy and Tammy Slayton, and now I guess the whole slew of everybody else in their family, and or Tammy's friends at the rehab facility center. Yes, everybody, I am back once again, and I'm so excited because honestly, truly, I don't know how 1,000 Pound Sisters does it, but like, every season just keeps getting better, and I really enjoyed this week's episode. I mean, I enjoyed last week's episode too, but they somehow managed to fit so many things into one episode, and there used to feel like a lot of the episodes had a lot of filler scenes and moments in it, and I felt like everything this week was just good for the most part. There's one scene that was like maybe a little less exciting than the rest of the things that happened in this week's episode, but overall I really enjoyed it and I had a really good time. If you've been watching me for a while, you will know that when I do these recaps, I sometimes do give some social media updates, so I just wanted to share this TikTok I came across where Tammy was responding to some people who asked like why she couldn't talk more about the changes in her appearance. So I just wanted to share that with you here.
I really wish I could talk about all the stuff that's going on with my weight and my hair and my clothes and my marriage. Like, I can't. Like, I'm still under contract. Season 4 is coming out January 17th. Like, that's the premiere, sorry. That's when it's premiering. But that's only like 8 episodes of a series of 16 episodes. We start filming Season 4B at the end of this month. So, I mean, I can't give TLC FOMO, and I mean, FOMO means fear of missing out, but I can't, I'm sorry, but I do appreciate your comment. Thank you. I'm being weird, I'm sorry.
I think the thing about it that is most fascinating to me outside of Tammy's appearance, because really honestly I've seen recent TikToks and photos of Tammy, so I'm not too shocked by the way she looks. Although I think that's important if you haven't seen it, that you know that that's still to come. But I think the most interesting thing to me is that they are filming this season in 2 parts. She references how they are like, there's a part A and a part B, and they've already filmed the first 8 episodes, which is part A, and that they'll be filming part B later, and because of all that, she can't do or say anything too much right now. And I'm just not sure if they've done that before. I mean, I'm sure they've done something similar before, because like last season, season 3, Tammy had her medical emergency while the season was still airing, and the season finale brought up Tammy's medical emergency. So I get the sense that they do film after the season has already started airing, but I just don't know if they've like ever intentionally broken it up into like 2 separate like 8 episode situation types of deals. Anyways, I mostly just wanted to share that with y'all because I thought some of y'all would find that interesting, fascinating, to learn more about what happens behind the scenes. But otherwise, I'm ready to get into this week's episode, and there is a lot to cover, so I'm gonna do my best to keep this condensed so that it's not like you're watching a second episode of the episode, or just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be a little weird if this ended up being longer than the actual episode on TLC. So the episode starts off with Amy, Michael, and Gage going to visit Amy's doctor to find out what the assigned sex of her future unborn child is. And I do have to say, after episode 1, I meant to comment during that video about how much I loved Amy's wardrobe this season. Like, she's clearly invested some money in some really cute outfits. And then Amy went to the doctor in this outfit.
Something like that can happen when Tammy's in a controlled environment. There ain't no way I want that bitch home right now.
But you know what? As long as homegirl is comfy, that is all that matters. It truly is. No judgment from me. But I really liked all of her outfits in the first episode. I'm just here to say that. Not so much this one, but you know what? Not even the most fashionable have to be fashionistas at all hours of the day. And of course, Amy's excited to find out what the assigned sex is. She's hoping for a girl. But more importantly, she had to go and remind me what a cooter is.
I'm nervous and excited, but mostly I'm feeling like I got a damn bowling ball in my cooter. You know what a cooter is? Okay.
Oh, it's so funny to me. I love all the things that Amy says on a daily basis, and I appreciate that, because she did use that in one episode, like, I think in some season. I can't even remember. It's all a blur to me. But thank you, Amy, for that lesson and vocabulary. And while they're there, Amy has conversations with her doctor, who is Dr. Cindy Bazinski? Dr. Cindy. We're going to call her Dr. Cindy because I'm not sure how to say her last name, and they don't ever really say it there. They just write it out in front of her. And by the way, Dr. Cindy, beautiful, gorgeous, could be a model. I don't know how they film all these shows, like the 1,000 Pound Sisters and the 1,000 Pound Besties, and they're just constantly surrounded by beautiful people. I really do. Like, I don't know that I've ever had, like, a hot doctor ever in my life before. So I'm just amazed that every doctor that keeps coming is somebody that I find to be physically attractive. But Dr. Cindy, she's stunning. And Dr. Cindy talks to Amy a lot about the risks of being overweight while pregnant, how her blood pressure could go up, how she could get all kinds of complications with the pregnancy. So a lot of this particular scene, you know, the goal is to find out the sex of the baby, but a lot of it is to have a conversation with Amy about the risks of being overweight and not getting down enough in her weight post having weight loss surgery to have a low risk pregnancy. So essentially what you need to know is Amy is once again a high risk pregnancy, which, by the way, Amy is like, after this, I'm out. I'm done.
So after this baby, I'll get my tubes tied. This baby maker is closed.
She finds out that they're having another little boy, which we did already know. His name is Glenn. He's already been born. Amy's upset about the news that it's going to be another boy and blames Michael for it.
I knew it was a boy.
It's your fault. Man determines the sex.
And I already know that several people are going to have different types of feelings about how I feel about couples that get fixated on the gender of their baby prior to it ever even being born. But in general, my thoughts are that as long as the baby is healthy, that's all that should matter. And to have such strong feelings about what your child's gender and sex are prior to it even being born feels like a lot to me. But as long as Amy and Michael aren't having gender reveal parties that are burning down forests, I think we're okay. But yeah, Dr. Cindy has more conversations with Amy about how she needs to eat some more fruits and vegetables, stay away from bad foods for her, etc. And Amy vows that she is going to do something about it, and we are going to see a brand new Amy. A whole different side to her. So we'll see. We'll see. Then we scoot on over back to Tammy in the old rehab, and she's walking more. She's even doing some cool rope exercises. But above all of that, more importantly, Tammy reminds us that even her trach is a part of this pissin' and shittin' and fartin' TV show.
My throat farts. I can't control that.
We also get to see her have a few conversations with, like, the staff about the food that's available at the rehab clinic. I think they show somebody offering her, like, lasagna or, like, a hot dog with some coleslaw or something like that, and Tammy doesn't seem too thrilled about either option. And Tammy's like, it's hard when this is the food that they offer. It's hard to keep a 100% healthy diet. But honestly, either of those things would probably be fine in moderation, especially if like what she's eating is being monitored by the rehab clinic. Although based on things later in the show, I'm not entirely sure that the rehab clinic is doing too much to monitor the food that its patients are partaking in. And also, after Tammy is shown complaining about the food options, the producers ask her a follow-up question.
Do you try and avoid carbs?
No. It's not broken, don't fix it.
And so now I'm like, okay, well, what was wrong with the original options then, bestie? And like, I think there is something broken, so maybe we should try to be fixing it. Then we get to see a little segment where Misty and Amanda go work out, and I have a lot of thoughts about this in terms of like, why are we following them individually now, separate from any of the other siblings in the family? It's really becoming a whole Slayton, Slew, crew situation type of deal on this show. And I do have like a mild worry that the show is going to start spreading itself too thin between all of the siblings, because that's kind of how I feel about 1,000 Pound Besties, is it's trying to cover too many people without focusing enough on each of the individual people on that show. So I'm kind of worried that this could end up that way. However, I'm also guessing that this is going to help out with like some of the concerns that Amy had about filming a new season, which is that she wanted to be filming less because she wanted to spend more time with Gage. So I'm guessing they're filling in some of the cracks of like, hey, we're going to give Amy's family a break from filming as often, and we're going to fill in with some content about Misty, Amanda, Chris, etc. But it does feel like a little weird that we are just catching up with them out of the blue without any connection to anything that like Amy or Tammy is doing. So anyways, they go to work out at this gym, and we got to keep an eye out on whether or not Misty wore the right athletic clothing.
I wonder if I wore the right bra for this. Probably not. I'll definitely have black eyes before it's over with. I wonder if my panty line's showing. I don't know, but I'm pulling my shirt down. Oh, am I supposed to be naked? Oh, hold on.
And basically they're here doing this because Amanda says that all of the siblings now have a higher concern about their own health after the things that happened with Tammy. They were gonna do a dance class, but they felt a little too insecure about their booties.
You got these little girls in there with butt cheeks and stuff hanging out of shorts, swinging them and all that. I ain't about to do all that. If I swing my butt cheeks, I want them covered.
And conveniently, after they decide not to do the dance class, there's just a scale sitting in the middle of the gym, right next to some gym equipment, which is totally the place that scales normally hang out at gyms. And on top of that, this scale doesn't even say, hello, it's ready, so I want a refund. That is not what I signed up for on these TLC shows, okay? In fact, there were no hello, it's ready scales in this whole episode, and Tammy weighed in at the end. Give me my money back, TLC. Misty weighs in at 222 pounds, and she gives like an arbitrary, like made up goal of wanting to be 150 pounds. And I only say arbitrary and made up because normally the people on these shows are like working towards a goal that a doctor would give them. And I feel like the producers were just like, Misty, we haven't really spent a lot of time investing in you on this show. How much do you think you should be? And Amanda is 293 pounds. And it's after she weighs in that we get to hear more about her backstory. We already kind of heard a little bit of it last season. She talked about how she had gastric bypass once upon a time, and that she did get down to 220 pounds, but it was like having kids and all of that led her to gain some of that weight back. And a lot of you super sleuths on the internet already knew this about Amanda, but the show finally revealed that Amanda was married to Michael's brother. And if you don't know who I mean by Michael, Michael is Amy's husband. So Amy and Amanda were not only sisters, but also sisters-in-law. However, now that they finally brought that up, we find out that they're getting a divorce, that they're separated, that they've been separated for like 2 years and they're filing for divorce. Divorce. Why did I just struggle with that word? And then, out of nowhere, this hot-ass trainer comes up. And by out of nowhere, I mean, you know TLC asked him to come up and talk to the girlies.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good, how are you?
Y'all do need any help? Is this your first time here?
And I truly just love both the besties and the sisters, all of them, all the 1,000 pound cinematic universe, just being surrounded by hot people at all times. Like, how can I make this happen for my life? TLC, give me a show where I'm just surrounded by hot people at all times. Like, I don't have to be hot, but everybody around me has to be hot. And the good news is that Amanda agrees, and she's single and ready to mingle.
This feller, he's tall, he's fine.
Get them long legs moving.
All the better to wrap him around that instructions neck, boy.
And I can't say that I blame her, to be honest. And Amanda wants to focus on weight loss before she focuses on trying to date anybody. And besides, she can do herself better than anybody else can do her, if you know what I mean.
Can't nobody do me better than I can do me, baby. Nigga, amen.
So then we go back to Tammy and Rehab, just getting some things off her chest, and find out that she's been feeling kind of homesick, missing the family functions like graduations, birthdays, just in general seeing Gage do all of his first like steps and things like that. And I feel for her, but also like I think she knows that if she stays in the situation she's in now and works on making changes, that she'll eventually be able to go home long term. And I also just want to say there's a couple times in this episode where they really tried to make it seem like Tammy was out here filming some YouTube videos. This is one of them. And I'm just like, really? Why are we acting like Tammy is still a YouTuber? Because Homegirl has not posted on her YouTube channel in like almost 2 years. I went and checked, okay? I went and checked while I was typing out my notes watching the episode. At least try to make it look like she's filming a TikTok or something, you know? But even then, I just showed you all the TikTok at the beginning of this episode where it's clear she said, hey, I'm not telling people about what's happening on the episode on any of my social media. So I think really TLC just needs to drop this because it's all too meta, you know? We all know that she's not actually talking to her social media about what's happening in her life because we all follow her on social media. Then we cut to Amy, Michael, and Gage just eating some peaches. And it's killing me that Michael is literally just chilling on the couch cutting some peaches with a knife.
Look.
It also kills me that he asked Amy what she wants to do today, and her response is this.
Well, I gotta call Tammy, and I gotta go get Mom some meat.
Like, what kind of meat is Mama Slayton trying to munch on? What kind of meat are we picking up for old Mama Slayton? Anyways, we get the update that Amy is still trying to distance herself from Tammy. She thinks it's easier than dealing with all of Tammy's nonsense if she just, like, keeps herself away from it. She doesn't have to worry about it. And even though she says she's done dealing with Tammy's bad behavior, she also says this.
I forgive you this one time. You only get one chance.
And I don't know, bestie, but the past 3 seasons of this show kind of tell me that's a lie. You try to say that you only get one chance, that's a lie. You've given Tammy so many chances at this point, bestie. And they call Tammy to let her know that Amy's gonna have a boy, and Tammy's like, oh, well, you should be able to chase around 2 boys around your house. That won't be hard. I have faith in you. And Amy's response is so funny to me.
This bitch done said, it's not gonna be hard chasing after 2 years. I'm like, bitch, you ain't chasing nothing but a damn sandwich. Let's be real. You don't even chase them, you roll them.
And she also lets Tammy know that all of the siblings and Gage will be making their way to come pay her a visit. So I'm so happy that Amy is coming around, that she's gonna go say hi to her, that she's not letting this all come between her. One thing that I do think is either a continuity error or just like, I don't know, a big old muddled confusion about how the timeline on this show even works, is that Tammy says here that it's been 3 months since Chris and Amanda came to visit her. And the Chris and Amanda visit literally happened in the last episode. So I'm so unclear on how much time is passing between each of the times that they filmed this show. It's so confusing, and I think to some extent maybe intentionally, but it's annoying. Either way, it's really sweet that Tammy is genuinely excited to see her family and to see Gage. And they start hinting around this point in the episode that Tammy is considering coming home or would like to come home. But spoiler alert, she doesn't come home because she's literally still at the rehab facility center in real life as this show is airing. Our next scene introduces us to Tammy's friends, Ray and Lily, and they're doing some arts and crafts. And Tammy likes to aggravate, that's the word that Tammy used, aggravate Lily, but Lily says otherwise.
How are you surviving in this place?
Aggravating you?
Tammy!
Lily?
I'm not the type of person to get activated, whatever you said.
And Tammy and Lily like to have fun with each other. For example, they love to call each other cute little pet names.
We call each other name and stuff like that. Like I call her Pussycat, you call me dog. We just have fun together.
So I'm so interested to see how Lily and or Ray continue to be a part of the show. Obviously, also, we will eventually meet Tammy's now husband. And speaking of, a producer asked Tammy if she's talking to anybody at the rehab facility center.
Have you met or are you talking to anyone interesting here? It's a straight no. Have you ever dated anyone your size or close to your size? Is that a no?
That's a hard no. Yes, I only date thinner people, but that's only because two rocks don't make. Yeah, next question.
It's curious to hear that Tammy allegedly only dates people who are thinner than her. I don't know what it means, that two rocks, whoever, whatever. I'm not really sure I get it. But also, it's safe to say that Tammy doesn't stick to that for too long because, as I noted, she meets her husband in this facility. We also find out that Ray had congestive heart failure, which led to him coming to the rehab facility. And also that Lily has been a patient at this clinic for 7 years. And I think that really honestly truly makes Tammy a little bit nervous and is one of the things that's motivating her to try to get healthy so she can come home. So the family's going up to see Tammy. We get some footage of them in the van on the ride there. Amanda's particularly worried about the whole family being in such a small space because Amy could literally go off at any moment.
If Amy starts blowing ass, I swear to God, she's walking.
We also learned that Chris made some barbecue at Tammy's request to bring along, and Amy's just worried, like, hey, it's mostly healthy food, but also, like, even if it's healthy, Tammy might want to eat it all at once. So they make it to the facility, and Gage is so excited to see Tammy. Like, you can visually see his excitement, and you can also visually see Tammy's excitement, so I think that is really sweet. We find out from Tammy that she's probably lost 144 pounds since she last saw her siblings. And all of her siblings are like, yeah, we can tell. Like, we can physically see a difference. This is amazing. Keep up the work. And then they dig into all of the food that Chris made for Tammy. And honestly, I was trying to take down notes of all of the things that he made. But I think it'll be easier if Tammy just tells you all of them.
He made a broccoli cheese casserole with cauliflower rice, cowboy baked beans, turkey, sausage, ribs, pork loin.
What was your favorite?
All of it.
And it did look good, to be honest. I mean, if we're being for real right now, I would have eaten it. But either way, Tammy's siblings spend this time telling her, like, keep up the good work. Like, you really need to stay here. You know, you have done all of this on your own without any of us being around. And we think that that's important, that you establish some independence for yourself. And so she's like, well, listen, I would really love to go home, but I also understand that I need to stay here if I'm gonna make a difference so I can come home and stay home and not have to, like, come back here again. And of course, since the whole family's together, Gage had to remind everybody that before anything else, this family is a shittin' and pissin' and fartin' family.
Oh my God.
Okay, Gage just farted.
I'm sorry, he
And he's asleep doing it?
Yes.
And on top of that, Tammy got a little extra treat in addition to the barbecue that Chris made for her.
I can taste the with my... That kid can fart like a grown man.
Then we get another YouTube-style life update from Tammy, even though Homegirl is not on the YouTube really these days. And she lets us know that therapists hate her. But also, more importantly, it's just setting up that she is going to have a call with Dr. Connie, who we've actually seen on the 1,000 Pound Sisters before, but she's also on the 1,000 Pound Besties. I think she's talked to Megan, Vanessa, and Ashley all on that show. She was just on 1,000 Pound Besties like a week or two ago talking to Ashley. Tammy's going to have multiple sessions with Dr. Connie before Dr. Connie approves her for weight loss surgery. It's one of the steps prior to it happening before Dr. Smith will approve her overall. And Tammy actually does a lot of great self-reflection in this scene, talks a lot about the ways that she thinks she's grown, the way that she has set some like limits and boundaries in her life. She even talks about, this is the part where I was saying that I don't think the facility is really monitoring the food they eat all that much, because she talks about how some of her friends at the facility go out to get fast food and she's been tempted to join them, but she stopped herself. So Tammy's learning that she's stronger than what she thought, and Dr. Connie seems genuinely impressed with the improvement that Tammy's made. And honestly, you can see a change in her attitude so far in these first 2 episodes from what we saw in season 3. But where season 3 comes out a little bit in Tammy this episode is when Dr. Connie starts pushing her, because Tammy brings up how, you know, prior to her medical emergency, she was like eating whatever she wanted, drinking lots of alcohol, even smoking, things like that, and that she was just kind of like out of control because she was in a bad mental health space. And Tammy gets a little frustrated when Dr. Connie wants to ask more about like why she was engaging in those behaviors and what she got from it.
Do you know what the purpose was?
I don't wish to talk about it.
Tell us a little bit about the decisions you were making and why you feel you went there.
I really don't want to talk about all that.
When you drank, how did it change how you felt?
I don't want to talk about it.
Even the producers tried to ask her about like why she was acting like that, and Tammy just shut it down over and over and over again. She did not want to talk about it. And her just like firm, like, I'm not going to talk about this, was really giving some of the same like, this is so frustrating vibes from season 3 when it came to Tammy. So basically Dr. Connie's like, well, listen, we're going to have to get to the root of some of these problems, because the same reason you turned to drinking is probably similar to why you turned to eating and overeating and things like that to deal with your feelings. And so before I can approve you for weight loss surgery, we're going to have to get to the root of those problems. And Dr. Connie also talks about wanting to set up some kind of like relapse plan for her, so that like if she gets home and she doesn't have the resources, she knows what she can do if something bad happens. But Tammy starts getting tired and they end up ending the call. But overall, even with Tammy not really being super forthcoming, it felt like a really productive conversation from what I could tell. The next thing that happens is that Amanda and Amy take Gage to do swimming lessons. It seems like the goal is less about Gage being able to swim and more about how it benefits Amy.
I think it's important for babies to know how to swim. Plus, just get mommy exercise. And he gets wore out, so he'll sleep through the night. And I think it helps your mental mentality, too.
We also find out that Amy doesn't know how to swim, never learned how to swim. And so that's a part of this episode, too, or this segment of the episode. And I gotta be quite honest, I've been talking about all these hot people on all these 1,000 Pound Cinematic Universe shows. And the swim instructor in this part of the video, no shade to him, he seems like a lovely gentleman, but he's the only one, the first one, that I haven't felt anything about physically. And you know what? I think that's okay. I think that's fine. Maybe I can stop being thirsty for 2 seconds. Let me get a drink. Overall, this scene didn't really give me a whole lot. It wasn't particularly overly funny. I mean, the funniest things that happened were Amanda dragging Amy around the pool, and also Amy saying that she wanted to put the pee in the pool.
Now mommy has to pee. Can I pee in the water? I didn't do that, by the way.
Because again, we're a pissing and shitting and farting TV show. But outside of that, I'm like, I don't know. This seemed like a filler segment. Like they're like, we have 5 minutes of the show we need to fill, so let's just put this in. And the final scene is just a real quick scene of Tammy weighing in at rehab. She was 573 pounds the last time she had weighed in, and she said that she needed to get down to, I believe, 550 pounds in order to get the surgery. And she weighs in, and again, no hello, it's ready, it's scale, but it's fine. Hello, it's ready, it's scale. Zach. No hello, it's ready scale, but she gets on and she is now 583.9 pounds. So she has gained 10 pounds, and she does mention that this is the first time that she's gained since she was in the hospital. So that's kind of the cliffhanger, I guess. They used to really put some cliffhangers there, but that felt like a solid end where, like, I guess I'm kind of curious about what's gonna happen with her weight next week. But also, like, they used to leave cliffhangers of, like, Tammy raging out and just like, oh, I couldn't wait to see what was gonna happen next week. Like, they would cut in the middle of her raging. And so I kind of missed those cliffhangers just a little bit. But this is fine. This was a great episode, like I said. And I'm looking forward to next week as well. There's all kinds of things that look like are gonna be crazy. Like, for instance, it looks like Tammy's a little bit back to being Tammy. Like feisty, angry, upset Tammy, so I'm curious what that's about. There's some kind of funeral. I'm hoping maybe it's something to honor Little Bit. I'm hoping, because I do miss the Little Bit shot of the week. I miss her involvement in this show. And we also will see Chris check in with Dr. Smith, and something was happening at Tammy's apartment in Kentucky. So curious to find out what happens next week, but overall really enjoyed this week. I hope you did too. Let me know what your favorite part was down below. What are your thoughts about the sisters, the whole family, the whole kit and caboodle? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're brand new to my channel, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. I am doing weekly recaps of 1,000 Pound Sisters and the 1,000 Pound Besties as well, if that's of interest to you. So they will probably be posted back to back on Wednesdays and Thursdays, so just make sure to come back next week as well. And make sure to leave a comment, hit like, click share, follow me on all my social media, all of those things. I love you all so much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!